I'm a big fan of the classic Disney characters, but looking over them, the one who has surprisingly evolved the most over the years has been Goofy. There's a lot of depth and an actual family history there, even as the continuity gets more muddled as time goes on. It's little surprise he's one of the more endearing characters in the Disney canon. Goofy first appeared in the 1932 short Mickey's Revue, albeit much older, and with the name Dippy Dog. The voice was provided by Pinto Colvig, who was also responsible for Goofy's distinctive laugh. His famous holler, however, came from Austrian skier Hans Skroll. The Disney artists and animators continued to slowly flesh out and develop Goofy into the lovable dogman we know today. His most notable contributions during the 1930s were the shorts that paired him up with Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck. Mickey's straight man, Donald's temper, and Goofy's innocent, goofiness bounced off each other extremely well in cartoons like Mickey's Service Station, Lonesome Ghosts, and Mickey's Trailer. Putting these three together was both a ticking time bomb and a winning combination, as they gelled phenomenally well. Ben Sharpstein directed many of these shorts, and the timing was just incredible. The trio also appeared together in the Mickey and the Beanstalk segment of Fun and Fancy Free, which again proved their incredible chemistry even when retelling a classic fairy tale. Entering the 1940s, Goofy started appearing in the Howto series, in which a narrator would try and teach a subject, usually sports-related, and Goofy would desperately try to follow along with the steps to hilarious results. This took the physical comedy of the character to new heights, with the animation truly experimenting with body language, as Pinto Colvig left the studio for a period after a dispute with Walt Disney. Entering the 1950s, Goofy decided to settle down in suburbia with a wife and child, setting him apart from Mickey and Donald, who have forever remained uncles and for some reason continue to live alone and not with Minnie and Daisy. Seriously, you've been together for how many years now? Time a knot already. What I love about the 50s Goofy cartoons is how much a product of that time they are, giving a peek into home life in the 1950s, and in a way that's surprisingly not afraid of showing that it wasn't all happiness and picket fences. Take that, Leave It to Beaver. Jack Kinney was responsible for many of these cartoons, and seemingly used them to comment on society and the little things that might have annoyed people, or the frustrations of day-to-day life during the post-war era and expansion of suburbia in the United States at the time. These are neat animated time capsules in that regard. After production of the Goofy shorts ended in 1965, Goofy was mostly relegated to television specials, commercials, and walking around the Disney theme parks. In 1965, Disney Comics also started writing him as a superhero called Super Goof, where he gains his powers from Peanuts and fought a number of Disney villains, including the Phantom Blot and the Beagle Boys. Various voice actors, including Hal Smith and Tony Pope, took on the role for projects like Sport Goofy and Soccer Mania, and a cameo in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. However, the voice actor most responsible for truly making the character his own and bringing him to the 90s is Bill Farmer. Farmer has played the role continuously for 30 years now, and done such a marvelous job of that. He, of course, played the role alongside Wayne Allwine's Mickey Mouse and Tony Anselmo's Donald Duck in the live adaptations of The Prince and the Pauper and The Three Musketeers, and Goofy also served as a waiter at the House of Mouse nightclub in the eponymous animated series. However, his most endearing portrayal of Goofy has been as a single father in Goof Troop. On the series, Goofy and his son Max move to a town after his wife passes away and try to make a new life for themselves. Goof Troop, of course, continued the themes of the 50s series by placing the characters in a modern suburbia, and saw how they dealt with their wacky neighbors and the hijinks that ensue. Farmer makes Goofy an even more lovable character than before, as he deals with his son getting frequently embarrassed by him and the schemes of his neighbor Pete. While it's not often mentioned, it is touching when Goof Troop did bring up Goofy being a widow, and Farmer delivers so much with any line in reference to this. In a Goofy movie, the filmmakers jumped ahead in time to Max being a teenager and showing his continuing distance from his father. This film deserves so much more credit for how it depicts the father-son relationship between the 90s musical numbers. Throughout it all, we see Max struggling with staying honest with his father and the consequences of his actions. We really see Goofy at his lowest and saddest points in a Goofy movie, and director Kevin Lima does an excellent job with the lighting in showing those moments. It's a case how even a character like Goofy, often recognized as just a funny slapstick character, can have scenes of death. Bill Farmer delivers a performance with the right amount of humor and emotion. With films like Space Jam gaining such nostalgic followings, I think it's about time a Goofy movie got the same retroactive recognition. It may not officially be a part of the Disney animation canon, but it remains a worthy animated film from the studio, and one I find myself continually coming back to. The biggest question with Goofy over the years is why Pluto is just a regular dog, and Goofy gets to be anthropomorphic, talk, and wear clothes. That's a good question. The Disney universe does not really explain it. And it's not just Goofy. The background characters in Disney shorts and shows like Goof Troop are drawn with dog noses. Also, Pete and his family on Goof Troop are supposed to be cats, but Goofy and Max have a pet cat named Waffles. It's so confusing. Even Disney series themselves have made fun of this.
And is it fair that Pluto has to sleep in a doghouse and wear a leash while Goofy, who is also a dog, gets to drive around in a car and play golf with Mickey? What? Sorry, it's just always bothered me.
I agree, Shia LaBeouf. It makes no sense. That confusion aside, Goofy is still a wonderfully endearing character, whether he's voiced by Pinto Colvig or Bill Farmer, and one I'm always happy to see make an appearance in a Disney production. See you next time.